And welcome back to the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline. Radio guy Dr. Mike Prince here with you. You know this is a big week. It is State Fair Classic week. And who better to reach out to a comrade in the industry, very well respected and known for his work that he does with HBCU sports. And that is none other than Kenn Rashad. How you doing today, my man?
I'm doing well, my brother. How are you?
I'm okay considering that we're going to be enemies this week, but after this week, I'll tolerate you. How's that?
Yeah, man. You know what? Yeah, Mike. It's gonna be. It's.
I love it. Look,
I can't even be mad at you, but you know what? We gonna be friends until after. We enemies until after Saturday around what 8.
Yeah, about 8 o'clock. That sounds about a good enough fair time. We'll be frenemies this week. We'll be frenemies.
There you go.
Yes, sir. Now, look, for those who might not be aware of who Kenn Rashad is, man, do a little introduction of who you are and what you do, and then we'll go from there.
I'm the founding editor and publisher of HBCU Sports, located on the web at hbcusports.com. We have been covering HBCU sports and the HBCU sports landscape for 25 years. And, whether it be Grambling State, Prairie View, the SWAC, MEAC, SIAC, CIAA, and every other, HBCU in between that may not necessarily be affiliated with any of those conferences, we do what we can to make sure that we give them coverage. May not necessarily always be the best of news. We're not a PR firm, but we do believe in being honest, and we do believe in telling the stories that need to be told, but most importantly, we take pride in being accurate and telling the truth.
Yes, sir, and I love the way that you mentioned Grambling before Prairie View, and I know it's your journalistic background, G is before P.
GB is before P. You picked that up, huh? That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, I know it. You old rascal, you, but that's okay. But look, 25 years in the game, and needless to say, when you've been on it for any amount of time, there's a lot of work that goes unrecognized or unknown because people, let's be honest, are oblivious to what is going on in the world of HBCU in particular. And when they do discover us, unfortunately, most of the times it's on something that they will perceive as negative in the eyes of a casual fan. And they're like, well, who is this guy anyway? And they think you're a Johnny-come-lately. But when you got blood, sweat, and tears and you're actually invested in not just Grambling, but the conference as a whole, it's a different approach to this whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah. But at some point, we're human. And I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that, sometimes it doesn't bother you, because it might only bother me in the event that I might ask myself, did we do could we have done a better job of maybe explaining the story, or did we miss something along the way in telling this particular story? But then when you kind of reevaluate it, you eventually, and I'm not talking about now, but this is maybe 20 some odd years ago, it just kind of gets to the point to where you realize that no matter what the case may be, you're never going to make everyone happy. And it became clear to me after a while that, again, we're not necessarily trying to make people happy, because sometimes the truth isn't about necessarily making somebody happy. The truth is the truth. And sometimes the truth can be dirty. Sometimes the truth can be bad. But I think ultimately we're all going to be better for it. So, it just comes with the territory, Mike. And, the only thing we can do is just to kind of keep on rolling.
Absolutely, and keep rolling is the point. And you made a key reference, sir, about speaking and standing on the truth. And the truth of the matter is we have a very important game this week coming up. Grambling and Prairie View at the State Fair Classic. Prairie View will be the home team this year. Even though there was a spring rendition of this, not quite the same, at least from my end, of the atmosphere and the overall tension that comes with this game. And if the truth be told, in my own humble opinion, this is a critical game for both institutions. Would you agree with that, sir?
Oh, without question. Without question. And it's critical not simply because it's a conference game, obviously first and foremost, but there's so many other underlying storylines that aren't necessarily visible that make this game even more appealing. We're literally, let's be honest, we're kind of looking at a situation to where both of these coaches have been coaching at their respective institutions long enough to where it's been a while since a SWAC championship has been in reach. And this game is going to tell us a lot about the possible trajectory that the teams can go, or the coaches may be facing. There are just so many different storylines. For instance, Grambling is looking at a historical precedent in which they lose this game. It will be the first time in history that Grambling has lost to Prairie View in 4 straight attempts. Now, there, I believe, was an attempt. I think early on, they lost, 4 out of 5 years, but it was never 4 in a row. And this could possibly be one of those cases where Grambling could be, 4 and out against Prairie View, something that we haven't seen before. And on the other end, you look at, Prairie View and the fact that, look, they've been putting up points. And again, the interesting nugget with this particular situation is that you've got a head coach who was the former offensive coordinator at Grambling. And ever since he got on board at Prairie View and Eric Dooley, ever since he's become the head coach there, he's pretty much had Grambling's number since he got there. And but unfortunately, it's kind of run into some roadblocks along the way during the course of the season. So it's a tale of 2 cities in a sense. Each have their own unique circumstances brewing, and there's just an awful lot on the line, man. I could go talking all day about possibilities, but we don't have that much time.
I do understand. We're on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline with Kenn Rashad of HBCU Sports, talking about the significance of this Grambling Prairie View game that will be taking place this Saturday from Dallas, Texas. Now, is it by coincidence that since the departure of Eric Dooley that Grambling's offense has struggled?
I don't know if it's by coincidence, but we can't deny what we've seen since Eric Dooley has left Grambling, and Grambling has struggled, with offense. There have literally, wow. You look at what Grambling faced during the spring and going 0-4 during the course of the spring, they're basically just looking for the right answer in an offensive coordinator. So I don't know if it was a coincidence, but without question, the fact that Eric Dooley left to take on the job at Prairie View, Grambling has certainly been impacted since the day he left.
Okay. Now, not asking for a response one way or the other, sometimes people are best working together than against each other, because in the case of Eric Dooley, the first quarter of the season has been very smooth since his arrival at Prairie View. He takes care of Texas Southern. He takes care of Grambling. His struggle has been what we call the hump portion of the season here at the open mic: Alcorn, Southern University, Jackson State. Cannot get over those teams for whatever the cause or curse may be. And it's almost like, okay, we have Coach Willie Simmons. He couldn't get past Grambling. You bring in Dooley, he gets past Grambling, but now he's struggling with the rest. And there becomes a bit of uneasiness at Panther Nation. However, with both of these programs coming in with all this uneasiness, something is going to have to give on this Saturday. What are you feeling are going to be the keys for Grambling to be the last man standing this week, sir?
Well, the keys for Grambling, first and foremost, is offense. Grambling is entering Saturday will be the 4th game of the season. and the offense has scored a total of 16 points in 3 games. So that is first and foremost. If there's any semblance of Grambling being able to move the ball during the course of the day, being able to hopefully keep the defense off the field, that's going to be key. But first and foremost for Grambling is that Broderick Fobbs is going to have to put himself in a position to where his offense can not only move the ball but actually score points. So that's kind of the primary that's the primary thing for Grambling and Coach Fobbs entering in this game. He's got to be able to move the ball, and his offense has got to produce.
Okay. Is it fair that Fobbs is receiving the heat that he's been receiving from G Nation? From your perception, do you think this is a fair yoke for him to be bearing at this point? From outside looking in, the consistency that he's brought to the program, the level of integrity that he operates within the program, one has to admire how he carries himself as a coach on and off the field, from outside looking in. You being closer to the situation, is he fair to be under the obvious heat that I'm seeing and others are seeing from outside looking in?
Well, obviously, a person in his position, criticism comes with the position. But given the recent struggles that the team has faced, there are some internal issues that I think those on the outside looking in may not necessarily be aware of. Now, to just answer your question, is the criticism that he's receiving fair? With respect to wins and losses, you can say it's fair. Is it justified? You can say so, but I'm not going to go into details. But I am one who believes that if you're going to hold a coach accountable for wins and losses, you got to make sure that coach has what he needs to get those wins. And without going into too much detail, I will just simply say this. Coach Fobbs, Grambling Athletics, and those coaches from top to bottom, they don't have everything that they need to get the wins that folks who claim they support Grambling need. And I guess basically it comes down to this. Athletics needs, they need more support. The athletic department needs the support of the university to get the type of results that Grambling folks are looking for. And, given where things were during the spring, we've seen, the president, Rick Gallo, has indicated that there is going to be a renewed commitment to athletics. And it just simply remains to be seen what that will look like and what the outcome will eventually be. But as it stands right now, there are no excuses. The game will be held on Saturday. Coach Fobbs is going to be held accountable for the wins or losses, regardless of what the case may be overall. And that's pretty much where we are right now. It doesn't change what's online, what's on the line this coming Saturday. So okay. Is the criticism fair? Yeah, the criticism is fair. Him being responsible for what's going out there, it's fair. But there things could be better, and I'll just leave it at that before I get in trouble. We're
talking to Kenn Rashad of HBCU Sports. Now, you brought up something, Ken, that made my aha moment come up when you talked about the necessary support for athletics, and I believe that could be something echo for all our conference counterparts as more is needed, which kind of leads me to something I didn't think we would talk about, but we can touch on it for just a moment. It is obvious that we are proud of this Southwestern Athletic Conference, rich heritage and everything, but we struggle when we step outside our conference. We beat up on each other well, but when we go out, and when I say outside the conference, I'm not talking about FBS opponents. I'm talking about FCS opponents, the Southland opponents, right. OVC opponents, the Big Sky for that matter, and the MEAC. We're struggling against the MEAC, if the truth be told.
Yeah.
If you could summarize in a word. I'm gonna make you really work for this one. In one word, why are we struggling in those areas?
Because we're struggling administratively in the areas that are responsible for, putting the coaches and these student athletes in a position to win. If you have holes in key administrative positions, you're eventually going to have holes in how you go about doing the day-to-day of, your football program, basketball program, or whatever. Obviously, the only thing that people pretty much see are the wins and the losses. But sometimes the wins and the losses aren't necessarily the result of the team that you lost against being better. It may not necessarily be the result of the coaches who you coached against were better, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes the deficit could be in how you go about managing operations on a week-to-week basis. Perfect example, Alcorn State. Alcorn State had to halt practice because they didn't have athletic trainers to oversee the practice. Key items or key issues like that impact the quality of play. And as a result, while Alcorn made a valiant effort in, I think they played, South Alabama, and from what I understand, came pretty close to winning that game, Fred McNair said himself that the thing that, even though they were able to get a couple of days of practice in before that game started, there was a conditioning area that, not having those extra days, the conditioning caught up with them. And as a result, who knows what the outcome could have been. So it's issues like that, training, nutrition, things of that nature that, unfortunately, I think some people just don't have an appreciation for little things like that. It puts coaches and the student athletes in a position that, to be quite honest with you, puts them at a deficit, and sometimes puts them in a position to where, while it may look like they're ready to go, and while they may be dressed to the nines and everything else, the little things that they couldn't take advantage of during the course of the week or the course of the month prevented them from performing at their optimal levels. So administrative positions or administrative issues can impact the quality of play, whether it be in football, whether it be in basketball, or any sport. And for those of you who think that's an excuse, believe me, you saw it first. You saw a perfect example of that this past week with Alcorn State.
Very well stated, sir. Very well stated. That's why we have you on the line. We're gonna save that because, man, we're gonna have to revisit. Man, look, we're gonna have to start doing some more frequent visits like this. But I know we're pressed for time right now. I need you. I already know which way you're gonna lean on, but I need you to give me what the final score is going to be and who will be the victor from your perspective.
Contrary to people like this, I think the game will be probably the opposite of what I think we've been kind of used to seeing in previous years. I think I wouldn't be surprised at all if the game Saturday would be similar to what we saw in the spring. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think that while Grambling will still try to find its way to move the ball offensively, I think they will have some success, but I think it'll be a defensive battle on both ends for the simple fact that I think Grambling has the advantage defensively and will be in a position to where they can maybe slow down the PV offense that is potent that we would typically expect from a Dooley team. But I think there are probably some wrinkles within the Prairie View defense that may enable Grambling's offense to be able to move the ball and potentially be able to score. How often that might be, well, that remains to be seen. But I think we could possibly be looking at a low-scoring game, and I'm going to say low-scoring being somewhere in the ballpark of, say, 20-17.
20-17.
Grambling.
Yes. That's your final answer, I'm sure.
That is my final answer.
20-17. I'm thinking of a similar score, and I do believe it's going to be close. And I would be shocked if the winning team scores over 30 points this week, because
I would be too. I would be too.
But I can see the Panthers winning this one by a score of like 28-24. And I think it's going to be a very competitive game, an entertaining game, and I think it's going to be one for the ages. Now, hopefully, one of us is going to be right. That's for sure. But of course, this is a PV-led program, and so we're hoping that the Panthers be the last man standing. But nonetheless, we want a competitive game. Unfortunately, someone's going to come up short, and the bad part behind that is that you could start having to look over your shoulder, whoever that losing coach may be, and that's not a good feeling, not at all.
Yeah. Now, obviously, even once that game ends, and depending what the outcome is going to be, there's still a lot of football to be played. But yeah, you are absolutely right. But you are wrong about the outcome. Low scoring affair. I don't think either team is going to be over 30. Will score over 30, but TV will lose.
Okay, sir. It sounds like you're trying to challenge me to a wager or something. That's what it sounds like. I'm up for a spring bottled water. Are you up for a spring bottled water? Or a liter of water, whatnot?
Yeah. Bottled water. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm not a true gambler per se, but I will stand behind my Panthers. Now, I'm not afraid.
No. I'm afraid you're going to lose, but.
Well, okay. As we say back in the hood, put up or shut up, baby. What you want? You want that bottled water? You want some Utopia or some Ozarkin? What do you want?
See,
what brand of water do they sell up there in the Dallas area? Is it the D-Town Bottled Water Company or something? Whatever your choice is.
I do spring water. I'll take the Ozarka brand. I don't want drinking water. I don't want filtered water. I want spring water. I'll take the Ozarka brand.
Oh, you'll take the Ozarka brand? It doesn't matter if Ozarka is written in Sharpie, right?
No. I don't need the Sharpie version. I don't need the Sharpie version. I need the original version. I need the original Ozarka. Yeah.
Okay. Well, consider that done, sir. Consider that done.
And one other thing, and I want spring water, not water from Spring, Texas. Okay?
Oh man, you know what? That sounds good, my friend. Well, look, Ken, I need you to let our listeners know how they could follow your work and how often you're producing what needs to be done before we close this segment out, sir.
Hey, we're located on the web at hbcusports.com. If you want to follow me, I'm on Twitter at Kenn Rashad. And if you want to follow HBCU Sports, we're at HBCU Sports on Twitter.
Just that short and sweet. I like that, man. Not all these different fly off the wall handles and this, that, and the other. You can follow me at HQZILL right now, but right now, no, it is Kenn Rashad. I like that, man. I don't care that you do go to Grambling. I just like the simplicity that's in all of that, man. And I thank you so much, but let's make sure that this is not the last time we visit. And I'm going to say this and mean it to a degree. Good luck on Saturday. And when I say good luck, let no one get hurt. That everybody will walk away from that thing under their own power, but just have that L hanging around your neck when it's over with.
Yes, sir. Well,
is that fair enough to say?
Well, except with that last part, but people don't know. We're going to talk after this. We're going to do some talking.
We're going to talk for sure after this, and I have absolutely no problem with it. My brothers and sisters, this was Brother Kenn Rashad meeting with us on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter at The Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is the Open Mic Broadcast Network, and if you're listening by way of YouTube, I need you to subscribe right now and also hit that like button. That will help us out tremendously. And as always, we thank you guys for joining in with us. And until the next time, be blessed. We'll see you on the other side.